We are live from Anchorage, Alaska. We got Kire Mobile with a super special guest on here, Darth Microtransaction. Dab it on him to start the show. Let's go. Okay, glad to have you on.
Glad to have you.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Okay, so
yes,
we got two things. We got two things on the docket for today. First,
okay, what's on the docket?
I'm going to bottle you in another clan boss race. You know, I mean, we got to keep the streak going. Okay. Then meanwhile, we're going to just trade back and forth tips that we're thinking about, go back and forth with that. Okay.
Got it.
I have some lists. Yeah. All right. You ready to go? Okay.
Yeah,
so first thing.
I've never been more ready. Tell me when to go with the clan boss.
Yeah. We're doing easy clan boss, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
My team's ready. Okay. My team's ready as well.
The tubes.
All right.
It's going to be easy. 3, 2, 1.
Well, you'll just have to tell us what your time is. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, go.
We're going in there. Okay. You know what? Guess first. What is your tip?
Okay, you didn't tell me if these are tips for newer, mid-game, in-game?
I think they should cater to all around. Like we're not, I think
these
a
are
large
just general Raid Shadow Legends tips.
General Raid Shadow Legends tips. Feel free to go super high end, super mid-game. It doesn't, really matter.
I would say the most important, right off the bat, I'll give you a very general one. The most important dungeon to farm is Dragon. I have a lot of people asking me sometimes on streams, like, I have 1,000 energy, what should I do with it? Just throw it in the Dragon. Like, no matter when in your account you farm, Dragon is always a good thing to farm. It doesn't matter when.
Yeah, I completely agree. I see a lot of people, it's like, how do I beat Spider 13? Or how do I beat, it's like, if you're asking those questions, that means your account, you don't have the right gear yet. Like, okay, you could beat Spider 13, but now you're going to be stuck on maybe 15. So just really focus on, go all in on Dragon. And then also too, to go on with that point, I think people, they overestimate the clan boss. Like it's overrated, especially in the beginning. I would recommend not focusing. I think Dragon 20 is a bigger priority. Good gear with good base stats is the better priority. And then go into Dragon 20, then go to clan boss.
Well, let's hear yours. You're talking about this was my tip, Eric.
This is your tip. Well, I'm adding on to it. My tip added on to yours. Yeah, that was fantastic. That's synergy.
Your tip was my tip. Is that how we're doing this? So, and then my tip is that clan boss is overrated.
Okay.
You should only worry about the.
No, it's literally on here. I got the list.
You don't get to add. You don't get to add on.
I don't get to add on your tip. Okay.
You don't get to add on.
Okay.
Come on, you do your own.
All right. So my tip is when you take a character that has an ability that is unlocked by an affinity, like let's say it's the A3 portion, like the whole ability is unlocked by the affinity. If it's a bad ability, then just don't level up the affinity until after you put books on the character, because the books will not go on that character if that affinity is still unlocked. Yeah.
So there's a way you can get a kind of a cheesy free.
Exactly. I think a perfect example of that would be Skull Crown, because Skull Crown has that ability that you need the affinity to.
See, this is the part where I would add on and say my tip is that some skills are better not booked.
Oh, okay. What a fantastic segue into a great tip,
how I would
Casey.
Add on.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Can you explain characters that would be better not booked?
A co-brawler.
Yeah. Well, oh man, what a great character.
Look at that. Look at that amazing idea. Okay, so here's my tip. You ready?
What's your tip?
Here for mine. Do not. Okay, don't do what I did, which is ignore faction wars until you can 21 everything. Like, just do whatever you can in the faction wars every time, because you need the speed glyphs. And now I'm so slow, it's like a problem.
Yeah,
like so don't ignore faction wars.
I agree, but at the same time, faction wars really sucks when you don't have that big of an account. It's just not fun.
It isn't fun. No part of it is fun, no.
But I do got to say though, then now that my roster is getting big, like more and more characters 6-star, it's significantly more fun than it used to be. Still, but I couldn't ever relate to me saying that until I get, I want to say like 40-ish 6-stars, something like that. I'm like in 30 to 40 range, where it's like I have covered multiple factions. Like I'm beating.
All right. Boss is down, by the way.
Boss is down. Oh, you smoked me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like not even. I have like 3 notches, dude.
Wow, it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close, dude. Yeah, how the tides the tables have turned.
How the turntables indeed.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, well, what's your thing now? I just did mine. It's your turn.
My thing is make sure. Okay, well, this is about gear. It's make sure that you focus on the primary stats first, like through campaign. I've seen. It sounds really basic for probably for a lot of people, but I see tons of accounts that come in like, oh, hey, what should I do here? How should I? What can I do to improve? And the base stats are not correct. And like, for example, flat defense, flat HP percentage, even in places where it should be defense on a defense character. It blows my mind how many characters I see that people want help with. And then the primary stats are incorrect. You know, and you could do that. You can get that through campaign. Like you can go through brutal campaign or nightmare campaign, even to get those right base stats. And then you can move on to higher versions of dragon to go back to your point about getting into dragon.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that one. I'll hit you with this one, which is do not. Well, I mean, you can, but like it is better to hoard all your gems in the beginning until you hit max level, because when you hit max level, the energy refills are worth more. Yeah. So if you can save your gems, because it is in fact an energy refill, not like a flat amount of energy. When you buy the refills for 40, it refills your energy as it states. So if you are like level 20 and you have like 60 energy or something, you're purchasing a really bad deal.
It's a massive value. It's already a pretty bad, it's not like the greatest deal. It's probably one of the best things you can buy. But if you're not waiting until the end there, it's even worse. So
hoard gems in the beginning.
Yes, definitely hoard gems. Would you recommend? I think something I would definitely sink my gems into early is the mine. I think the mine is great. I think that would be
maybe.
Something.
I don't know. Maybe like if you're gonna go over 100 days, sure. But if it was in the beginning of the game, I think it's actually bad to do, to be honest, especially if you're free to play, because you need the gems. I think so in the beginning. I've done the free to play grind twice now, and both times, if I buy the gem mine, I'm like instantly fucked, because I'll be completely out of the resources and be down to just the trickle like automatically right in the beginning, whereas you can slowly like push your way on.
Do you think they could eventually swing? When would you buy the gem mine then?
I would only buy it if you're a spender, I think. Actually, I would do it the other way around. I think it's just too important to use the gems too early.
Okay. Well, because I see both sides, so it's, because I can't relate to the free to play portion because I've never been free to play. So that's why it's like I have kind of an opinion, but I did spend, and I did with the spending buy the gem mine. So it's hard for me to, I can't really talk on that.
Because I'm doing the free to plays now, and as I'm doing the free to plays, like it's readily apparent that the best thing I can do with my gems is just hoard them and then buy energy with them. And having no gems would like automatically make the account a difficult process. Like I would even argue that spending 800 gems on my first mastery would be more important.
Oh yeah, for sure. To speed stuff up. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely argue to people. It's like a lot of people also are trying to do dungeons before they even master all 5 characters. Because that's one thing I noticed. I think that's a great thing you brought up, because a lot of people will not do the masteries on their characters. But that's one of the times that it's super valuable to just buy those masteries straight up, and then that makes every other 60 so much faster.
Yeah, it's definitely in the beginning more viable than later on, because you do get enough gems in the beginning. I mean, they give you 1,000 gems or so pretty easily stockpiled by the time you hit like level 25, 30. As long as you're doing the challenges and the missions and everything, you get gems pretty quickly for the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then also it's really not that terrible of a value, just objectively. I mean, it's like what, a 200
not that bad. You're paying a little bit of a premium, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a premium because you get energy for free over time, but the problem is when you're free to play, especially, is you're never not going to have a use for the energy. It's not like you can just suddenly go farm. It's not like, I'm just going to farm. I mean, maybe when you're AFK overnight, you're auto click Minotaur overnight, but you could auto click anything overnight. So it's like the energy drip is free to play. It's a little different than what I thought it was until I started doing it. So I believe it is your
tip for new players. Okay, so I see a lot of people label their videos like, these characters are not food. These characters are like, make sure you save these characters. And I'm like, anything that's a rare and above needs to be saved. Is at least one you have one copy of them. It might be the worst rare in the entire game. There's absolutely no reason to use that character as food. There's no reason to use epics as food, and definitely legendary, obviously legendaries. But I see like, it seems like there's like a debate there. And I think it's very important to always keep one copy of one. Like, for example, let me just, as I'm talking about this, I can just show what I'm saying here, which is, so if you look at my characters and you look at my vault, I always keep a copy of at least one. I don't care if it's a rare. And some rares that I think are really good is, for example, Painkeeper, I keep multiple copies of. And then another one is Apothecary, because Apothecary has been used in the Rotos fusion, so he's fair game. So definitely keep him, stuff like that. I just think that's really
over
important.
long term, it's better to keep one of everything.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying because like I could use this as food, get level 60s faster, but I feel significantly more secure on events, on fusions, on something like, let's say there's a new thing that they implement that doesn't exist yet. Like there's a new type of content that they want to release that needs something. You know, it's just always better to be safe. So
yeah, the fusions anytime or any kind of, you need a certain, you know, like a rare. I'll give you an example of a rare. Marked, for instance, does block debuffs and 60% defense up. Like without Sifi, it's pretty hard to get that combo.
Especially in a rare that's like she's like Grizzle Jarl Light, you know,
basically, yeah.
And so it's not having that, you know, or it's people didn't realize, like it took like 3-4 months for people to realize that was a good ability. And then people, like, I guarantee if you look at the beginning of the game, people would have thought she was garbage. And then people realized like, no, she's not, you know? And so the game's constantly evolving. So keeping these characters that are quote unquote garbage, even if they don't get buffed, may or may not have a use, even let alone just being used for a fusion. So
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my tip. Which is that do not spend gems on arena refreshes. It's not worth it. The same amount of gems you can spend on that arena refresh, you can spend on energy to buy gear, basically from Dragon, from farming it, and that will give you better increase in stats than trying to get the extra percentage from your Grey Hall. The grind is massive. On top of it, if you're not in Platinum, the rewards are bad, though they are getting buffed in the next one. So go for it, might be worth it.
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
That is exciting, but I would not recommend bothering with Arena other to get into Gold 4 once you can, but I would spend exactly 0 resources towards improving my Arena team. I would just let it fall as it happens. Like as you improve your PvE team, so does your PvP team happen to be improved. Otherwise, I wouldn't even bother, man, because the arena is one, so hilariously competitive, and two, when you're climbing from the beginning is very hard. Like right now on my free-to-play account, if you've been watching the series at all, I have Bellower, Sylar, Madame, and then the fourth person I have an option between like Atho, you know, a whole bunch of like different people I can put there. War Maiden.
You have Sir Nick,
and
right?
so,
or is this a new account?
This is the third, the walkthrough account.
Oh,
Sir Nick. So my arena team is good, but I can't get out of bronze 2, bronze 3. Like it's not going to happen because everyone down there has legendaries and everything. Everyone falls down. So the only way to really climb in the beginning is you just refresh when the free refreshes show up and you snipe. You just snipe the free ones, like the ones that are low. And that's the way you do it. If you keep doing that, then you'll climb and then the cards fall as they may, and then when you can hit Gold 4, you hit Gold 4, and then you try to stay in it. Other than that, you don't even bother, and you just use your tokens as they refresh for free just to farm them, but you don't pay for it.
I think that's an interesting point because when it comes to what you were saying about Arena, because like I would never have thought it would be that hard in like the lower stages, especially from a new player perspective. So it's interesting and makes perfect sense. It's just I'm so out of touch with that, so it's hard to relate. I think having those free to play accounts really helps with trying to relate to people in like the early or mid game.
Yeah, the free to play accounts have basically shown me that it's like way harder than it looks, like across the board. Basically everything's hard. I mean, even with like pulling good characters, it's still hard. Like trying to clear a hard campaign to get into Brutal, all that stuff's still hard, you know? Yeah.
Well, I know as we went through it, I think we take for granted, like, you know, that slow progression we had. Like, I was like, I remember being in Brutal for a long time and then like being a Nightmare for a long time. And then, but it didn't feel as bad because we were in the beginning of the game. Like we're all competing for like, there might be a couple people like hitting Ultra Nightmare.
Progress,
but we're like, we're keeping up with like the quote unquote like elite people. And then now thinking back, it's like, oh, this is really tough. And we were spenders, like decently sized spenders. So yeah, I think that's good to bring up.
So it's my point, right? Because you just kind of walked back in years. So I think mine would be that take advantage of the good wildcard packs if you're a whale. So when you're leveling up, you get something called wildcard packs. Every time you level, that's how they work. And sometimes those packs can be good. You have to use Brad's calculator, some discretionary advice or something from people. But more or less, the wildcard pack offers are the best ones you'll get. When you hit level 60, you'll never get another wildcard pack offer until they increase the level cap. And then that's more or less why they're doing it, is because every level trigger wildcard pack offers. And by now, the majority of the player base is at 60. So they're going to increase it to 100 to try to milk some more money out of the wildcard packs. And if you are a large spender, sometimes those do actually tend to be some of the better ones.
Yeah, I remember those being pretty significant. Like some of them, like you'll see them active on, if you ever go into other people's accounts, and it's like, Jesus, like this deal is like infinitely better than anything that you see later on. Like when your account gets classified as like a bigger spender, I think it's definitely, if you are going to spend, those are the times to do it. Are just to refresh my memory though, on the wildcard packs, are those the same as the you earned it now claim it's? Or are those different?
No, the you earned it now claim it's, those are like the 10, big, 20, 30, 40s. Those
big milestone levels. Yeah.
Yeah, the milestone ones. Exactly, milestone packs.
But wildcard ones, aren't those better? Those are better value, right? Than the
wildcard ones are the best value in the game, in my opinion, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sure there's some like of the 10 and 20, 30 ones that are up there. But I do remember the wildcard packs. Like some of the wildcard packs could be pretty bad, but a lot of them are super good. Like they have weird variants. I remember
some of the gear ones can be good too. Like every now and then you get one that's like a $10 gear pack, and they give you like a full set of 5-star gear. And right in the beginning, like one of the most hilarious things you can do is buy gear. Like buying one set of like 6-star gear and just throwing it on your main character right in the beginning automatically skips you through like a huge chunk of the game.
Probably about like 5,000 energy of Dragon 20. You mean like something?
Yeah,
stupid?
it's just automatically like upgrades. It's so hilarious because we've all gotten into our heads the concept of like gear being the biggest waste of value, because we always talk about you can farm it and everything, but it's like, yeah, that may be true, but like it is actually literally one of the best purchases you can do right in the beginning of the game. If you're trying to just progress for money, it's like $10 will get you farther than almost anything else. A $10 shield set will get you through the whole campaign because the shield set resets every round.
Yeah, it's great. Shield sets are also great in Faction Wars. Like they're hilarious in Faction Wars.
They're
for that reason. And then what was it? I think the best deals though for those, speaking of the gears, though, it has to be the $10 ones. I don't know if they still offer those, because I feel like I remember specifically when there was a 5-star legendary lifesteal set for $10, and you could buy them like 5 times.
That was an epic one. I could buy 9 of them, 5-star epic, and it gave me 4 pieces. So I just bought them, and it gave you the 3 variable ones. And then it gave you like a helmet or something. So what I did is I just bought them out.
Didn't it give gems too? Or no?
I think I want to say in the beginning they gave gems. Silver.
Because I thought they gave gems too. They gave gems to like the bad ones, like crit rate,
like the $35 and $45 ones, like the divine speed ones.
So if they still do that when you're progressing, like, and you're a spender, definitely take advantage.
Well, that brings it to you. So bring it on home. What's our last point from you?
I gotta think about this. Give me a second. Okay, so last tip. Let me think of how I could word this, but mainly I see a lot of people, they get like really intense about this game. It's just, if you're kind of over it, just take a break. I think a game, especially like this, I came from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and the Marvel Strike Force, is like they're shard-based systems. And so you feel this pressure to like always keep up with the other people. But in a game like Raid, you might miss out on like the daily stuff, but if you take a break, it's competitive. Yeah, it's really not that big of a deal. Just take a breath. And there's too many good games out right now, in my opinion. So it's just like, if you're feeling like Raid, if you're disappointed with a patch that comes out, if you're disappointed with how Fusions comes out, just
go play Dragon Champions for a bit.
Definitely go play Dragon Champions. But specifically, like, just anything, it doesn't matter. But like, just take a breath. Like, I remember I was pretty burnt out during the Molly Fusion. I took a break there, didn't play around the Rotos time. I didn't play, and like made it to where when I came back, like the game was fun again. And like I saw like that one guy like crushed his account and stuff like that. I just think it's just, you don't need to like send a message. If you don't want to play the game, just don't play the game. You mean, like, you don't need to like do something crazy like that just to show that you're quitting. You mean, because I think people's tastes change from here and there. Maybe you might want to come back, maybe you don't, but you're not losing anything if you just stop. I think sunk cost fallacy in games like this is probably one of the biggest drivers on how people like spend. But at the same time, if you just understand that, take a step back, it definitely will increase enjoyment and your sanity. So I think.
Well, there you go. You have it from the man himself. Number one name, Raid Shadow Legends.
There it is. Oh, one more down for the. Okay, well. I don't know if my
these
viewers
are free. These are all free. I'm not charging you for these ones.
I don't know if my viewers can handle those dabs, dude. But okay, closing it out. Do you got anything? Shout out? Any last words?
Yeah, my final tip is don't spend money on the game. Play free to play.
Think you have experience? You mean like? Do you think people can relate? You mean like? I don't know if you've spent too much. You spend
if you're
going to
spend $15,000, spend it on a car instead. I need a car that goes over 60 miles an hour without shaking.
What car would you buy for $15,000 if you could? If you could
remember my Mustang? Remember my Mustang GT?
Yes, I do remember your Mustang. Yeah,
I sold that for $19,800.
$19,800.
So,
oh, okay. So roughly around there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I picked it up for $13,400.
So okay,
I could have bought that Mustang. Mm-hmm. That Mustang was the price of my account.
But yeah, just think about all the dopamine you've gotten. Think about you got C-Fee. I mean, think
about how much money I've saved from tickets that I would have gotten if I kept that car all these years.
Dude. Yo, I've been
drove that car like a moron.
Yeah. No, I never thought of you as a person that would just go nuts driving, but
it's a fun car.
Yeah. It's like definitely uncomfortable in the passenger seat.
I had the Shelby track pack, so it was very vroom.
Yeah, right. Hell yeah. Well, it was pretty sick. It was dope while it lasted. Yeah, no, man.
That's the car I could have bought.
Well, it's just funny the difference in cars. Like I'm kicking it with a Camry, and you got that thing. It's just like it couldn't be more different.
Not anymore. I mean,
the
car. I was thinking about playing my car in my music video because it's got 330,000 miles on it. Like I know one of these days when I'm driving to see the girlfriend, it's going to stop. It's just gonna break down.
Hopefully it stops in Anchorage. Hopefully it stops midway in Anchorage. I can, I don't have to drive. Yeah, I don't have to drive too far.
Me up, and it's going to be like an hour drive.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in the arm and have to pick you up. So
we got to end this. We got to end this video right now. People have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, we're talking about last, but it's been real.
It's
been real.
Hey, bye. Look at his arm flab. Look at that flab. I got that.
Let's see if I got some.
That mom. I got that.
No, I'm rock hard, baby. I'm rock hard. Look at that. No flab. It's been.
All right.
Peace.